Okay, so what's going on, YouTube? Never mind the noise in the background. Got Game Master Chan back there playing online, my son. I'm gonna get this camera sorted a little bit. Doing some soldering down here on some lipos. How I do these guys is I'm taking the XT connector off of this for my boat. Gonna be switching everything over to Dean's because that's what I run. And I need this for another project that you'll be seeing on the channel later. And I needed another 3S pack that I can run at a later time. So I'm going to show you guys. I went ahead and stripped the factory heat shrink off the XT60 connector here, so I didn't have to mess up the connector. The connector will be reusable. I'm going to be reheating up the solder that they put on the connector from the factory and desoldering it there. I've already had my soldering gun plugged in, and what we're going to do is we're just going to get the positive one down here first. I'm just going to heat up the solder here and get it loose, okay?
Can you get this for me?
As always, be really careful when you're doing this, especially with lipos and stuff, guys. Let me see. Trying to get the factory solder loose. You may have to mount it up in the... Alright, have to mount it up into there. It's getting pretty hot. Let's see. There we go. There's one out. So we got the positive out. I want to be careful, don't touch it against anything, okay? And then let me spin this around. Let's see. Get a hold of this, just get it hot. Get the solder broke loose in the connector. Not that I don't like the XT connectors, I run Dean's on all my stuff and I've never had a problem with running Dean's, so. I need a better soldering gun. I'm going to be getting into running, unfortunately, more E-words. There we go. Connectors off. So, we've already got some solder on here. We're going to be upgrading, like I said, to our Dean's connector. This is a new Dean's hookup. Always make sure that you get your positive and your negative going to the right side. So I have another battery here just to check. This is gonna be my positive lead side. And you solder it here to the outside of the terminal. It's got a little notch on it. So, sizing it up here, guys. Yeah, that'll probably give me enough wire on the connector there. So I'm going to pull this back out. We're going to do the positive one first. Get this one out over here out of the way. We'll get this one here. And get a little extra on there. This little helping hand works pretty nice. Like I said, gonna go back again one more time, check twice so you don't screw up. I've had friends do this and mess them up. So we got, this is definitely our positive. So, gonna take a little bit of soldering paste, dip in there. We're going to a little soldering paste. I'm gonna try to use just the solder that's already here on the wire. We're going to grab our Dean's connector. Like I said, just double check again. This is our hot side, so I'm going to grab our soldering iron. Oops, and I almost made a mistake right there, guys. You need your heat shrink, okay? So we'll go ahead, and I may have grabbed the wrong size heat shrink here. May need some, yeah, I'm going to need bigger heat shrink than that. The next size up on it. Let's see here. I'm trying to find the red here. here. I got the red. I'm gonna trim me off a piece of the red. Cause this lead wire is pretty big, so I'm gonna trim off a decent little piece of the red one here. It's 3/16. Slide it down our wire pretty far so the heat don't absorb into it as bad. A little bit more soldering paste. I should have put that on first before the soldering paste, guys. So once again, you just want to check to make sure that you're getting the right one for your positive. Alright, so we got it right here. So, I don't know, sis. Give me a second, babe. And then I'm going to try to come in from the back side here and heat this up. And see if we can get the solder just to melt into our connector. And I don't think we're going to be able to. Well, maybe we did. I think we got a good connection on that. So, gonna let it cool down there for a second. Okay. Yeah, we definitely got good connection, guys. So this one's done. Okay. Positive is done. It's not pulling off. Definitely gonna have good connection with that one. Okay. So let me get some 3/16 here in the black. Okay. If I have 3/16, quarter. I don't know, but I have some 3/16 left. Quarter. There at one point in time, I was doing a lot of E words, so not that there's anything wrong or anything like that with electrics, guys. I just quit doing them for a long time. We got some 3/16 here, so I'll cut me a chunk of 3/16 here. Okay, and that's gonna go on our negative side here. Okay, run it down. Same thing. Soldering paste. Mount up our wire here. This is going to make it a little more difficult. There's a little nub here where you want to lay your wire on. That's the side that you want this on. Put that down. I'm going to try to give this a shot here with this side. Okay? And then we'll get our heat shrink on and it'll all be done. Get it right up against the wire there. Get this solder good and hot on this wire. Maybe. I don't think I got it hot enough. This is just a cheap Walmart soldering gun, guys, so I think we got it. Let's unplug our soldering iron so we don't burn it up. And of course, this is our other connector, which is going to be going on the boat. I'll throw it over there. So, I think we got a good connection here. So, went pretty well. Can't break it off. You want to pull it pretty good, move it around, make sure it's good and connected because you're going to be pulling on this stuff. So then you got your heat shrink. Okay. Like I said, I'm not a professional, but this is how I do mine. So, got your heat shrink ran all the way down. Get this lipo out of the way. Now, if I would have been using, before I get into the next part, I always use 6040 rosin core. You want a good grade solder. This stuff's from Napa. This always works really well. A little bit of solder lasts you a long time. And I always try to desolder these at the connection just in case you want to reuse them or anything like that. So, okay, so anyhow, I don't use a lighter or anything. I always end up messing stuff up. I got an actual heat gun from Harbor Freight. It's like 10 bucks. They're cheap. This is a Drill Master. Here in just a minute, okay? And then I got the connectors. We're gonna get some heat shrink, and this you just hit it with the heat shrink with your heat gun. There you go. Make sure you get it good. And there's your heat shrink on, your Dean's connectors on. You're good to go. Okay? Let it cool down. give it some, make sure everything's connected good. Your heat shrinks up on there really good. It's good and sealed up. So that battery's ready to rock and roll. I'm going to be putting a charge on it. It's a 3S. You can see here, I was looking at it. It needs hit again right here on this side, because you want to make sure your heat shrinks on real good, guys. This is going to be used on a crawler, so. And that's a clean solder installation. I mean, I'm no professional or anything, but there you go. You know, I mean, it's on there. Like I said, some guys may not like the Deans. I like the Deans connectors. I got to change the one on the boat to match. I'll do that in a little bit. But anyhow, there you go. That's soldering. You need to pick this cheap soldering iron up. It's a 30 watt, 120 volt, 60 hertz from Walmart. I think they're like $7, $8. I think they do got a changeable tip here. When I use them up, I just throw them away. I've been out of the electric stuff for a long time because I did the crawler stuff and everything. I'm starting to kind of get back into the crawler stuff. I actually worked on the Wraith tonight and got it. A lot of repairs that's been waiting on forever belongs to my son. I'm starting to kind of get back into the whole crawler scene a little bit. Just because they are fun to play with, especially in the wintertime. But anyhow, now I've got two small 3S packs here to get us going. A little extra run time for the Wraith. This one's a lot bigger. It's almost a 3000 mAh, and this is a small, I'm not sure what I think it might be 2200 on this one. These are both from boats. I've semi-waterproofed this one. But so this one's a little bigger battery. It's a bigger battery and it's actually lighter. And this battery ran a long time on my boat, so it should run a long time on a crawler too. So because boats take a lot of power. But anyhow, that's soldering. I just thought I'd throw this quick video up there. You still need soldering. You know, if you're changing connectors and stuff like that, even on your fifth scales and everything like that. So it's real easy to do. Like I said, get you good solder. That's 60/40 is what I use. I use the factory solder on that because it had it on it. It had a lot on it. But need the camera to focus. It's 60/40. I like the rosin core. I don't know why my camera wouldn't focus. And then some soldering paste. Works real good. That's how I do mine. Like I said, I'm not a professional or whatever. But it works. So anyways, some parts I got in the other day. I'm gonna be doing let me back the camera up here a little bit. 95 148. This is the VVT or whatever, VVC, supposedly the Rovin rebuild shock kits for these rear ball haul shocks. So I'm going to be doing those. I'll be doing a video tearing them apart and everything, going through that, actually cleaning them and everything and how I do them. But anyhow, those are supposed to be for the rear. So I'm going to be doing those coming soon. I got, let me go and pull this down. Sorry, guys. No. Here in just a minute. Okay? I got the 45cc, the Beast Bug. All the shocks are on it here. Let me just take the camera down here and I'll show you some stuff I ran into if you're running some aftermarket parts on your ball haul. So, we got the 5T. These are the 10mm shocks. You guys know I've been working on them. The rears, I actually didn't run into too much problem with here. Back the camera up a little bit more. They went on, no problems at all. Limiting straps are on here still. I'm still not real happy with the weight oil I have in the back of these. I ended up taking some of the 50 weight out. I'm probably going to end up going with like a full 70 to, believe it or not, 90 weight. How I like my setup, because I want it real stiff. The front is where I ran into major problems here, guys, okay? You can't see it with the cage. I should have done the video beforehand. But I ended up getting pretty creative with a custom mount up here to get my shock limiting strap spaced far enough away to where it wouldn't be hitting on my shock cap. And I mean, everything clears good now. I ended up having to space it down here and up here. I got a spacer here, you can see in here. And then I've got a little spacer pushing it out here so it doesn't rub. Can't really see it real well. I haven't got real good light down here on my A-arm, okay? And I ended up, you know, you have to run the roving upper A-arm here. Something else I ran into with the